Research process. In this video today, we are going to understand the process of research. A typical research process, it comprises of many steps. We'll see those steps today. The number one step is selecting the research area. We actually often underestimate the importance of this very first stage in the research process. If you find a research area and research problem which is genuinely interesting to you, it is sure that the whole process of then writing and conducting your research work will be much easier. Therefore, it is never too early to start thinking about the research area, the topics which is genuinely interesting to you, you are interested to work on it, the topic which are needed to be explored. So definitely this first stage of this research process needs to be taken very seriously. Then we come to the second stage. Formulate research aim, objectives and research questions. Now each of these terms, research aim, objective and research questions, these are very important to understand and they all have different meanings, and that's why they need to be understood well and then incorporated into this research work also. So what research aim means is that it emphasizes what needs to be achieved within the scope of research by the end of the research process. Achievement of research aim will provide that answer to your research question. It is a statement which constantly will remain in your mind that why I am doing this research, what is the aim behind it, what needs to be achieved. So this is research aim. And then research objectives are, you divide your research aim into several small parts and then address those each part separately. Research aim specifies what needs to be studied, and research objective, it comprises of a number of steps which addresses how research aim will be achieved. So objectives is basically dividing your research aim into several parts and then you address those parts separately. And research question will be the central question of the study throughout, which has to be answered on the basis of research findings, which you ultimately find out after completing your research, that what your research question was all throughout. Let's understand with an example. For example, here the research title is Television Viewing Habits and Sleep Disturbance in School Children. Okay, so research title is short, specific. It clearly tells us what the research is going to be about. So it has to be short and specific and it's there. Now the research aim will be to assess the effects of television viewing on sleep disturbance among school children. So this will be your aim, why you are doing this study, what is the reason behind it. The reason is that you will assess the effect of television viewing on sleep disturbance among school children, how it impacts, how television viewing impacts sleeping habits in school children. So this is your research aim. Now, as we said earlier, that research objectives are when we divide the research aim into smaller parts to understand it better. So here I have three objectives for this research question. A, to investigate television viewing habits among school children, which means that you will investigate separately how children are watching television, how many hours they watch television, what are they viewing, for how long, all these things, it will come under this objective. Second is to assess the sleep habits of school children, which means that you will observe that at what time they go to sleep, what is their routine around sleep time. So you will study all those under this objective. And there is the third objective, to investigate the relationship between specific television viewing habits and sleep disturbances in school children, which means that you will see the relationship, that whether there is any effect of television viewing on the sleeping patterns of school children. So these are smaller objectives which come under the larger aim which you have for your research work. The third step is conducting the literature review. Literature review is usually the longest stage in the research process. The literature review actually starts even before the formulation of research aims and objective. This is because you have to check first whether the same research problem or the research question which you have in mind, it has been done before or it hasn't already been addressed before. And that is why literature review is important, to see what kind of work on this research question has been done before. So you will conduct the main part of the literature review after your research aim and objectives have been defined, and you will use various kind of secondary data sources for that, such as books, newspapers, magazines, journals, online articles. The fourth step is selecting the data collection methods. Now comes the most exciting part, because all this while you have been doing desk work. Now you actually go to the field, use your data tools, collect your data, and you try to find the answers to your question, the research question you have. Data collection methods need to be selected on the basis of how critically you have analyzed the advantages and disadvantages, with several alternative methods you have for data collection. You have primary data collection and secondary data collection. Secondary data collection means that already the data which is already available, which is already published, you use that also to as a hand holding for collecting new data. And primary data collection is the unique findings from your research, new solutions which is emerging, new answers which is emerging from your research work. So that is primary data collection. So you first actually, the fifth step is collecting primary data. So there you will have to start the primary data collection only after going through a lot of detailed preparation. Sampling, for example, is an important element of this stage. You have to conduct pilot data collection if you have chosen questionnaire as your primary data collection method. So we'll do all a detailed video of this data collection methods, literature review, everything in other videos. So this is just an introduction of what the research process looks like, but there is a lot of things to learn about what are the different data collection methods, how you do primary data collection. So that we'll do in other videos. So this is all about fourth and fifth stage, which comes under data collection. Next step is sixth step is data analysis. After a lot of hard work at the field collecting data comes the sixth stage, data analysis. Data analysis is basically organizing your data, summarizing and further organizing it, and then comes the data analysis part. It's a very important stage of the research process because it will ultimately give you your answers to your research aim and objectives. It is important in the achievement of those aims and objectives. So when you are doing data analysis, if you have a qualitative research, then you can do content analysis, narrative analysis, discourse analysis, grounded theory. These are the approaches you can take. And if it's quantitative research, then you have to use descriptive statistics or inferential statistics, depending on the kind of data you have collected. We'll do all these techniques on how to do it, different sort of data analysis, in future video topics. So stay tuned and updated, because I will be uploading all the videos about separate videos on data collection, data analysis. And then is the last step, the conclusion. Seventh step is reaching conclusions. Conclusions relate to the level of achievement of research aims and objectives. In this final part of your research work, you will have to justify why you think the research aims and objectives have been achieved. What are the results of your research work? What are the answers to your research work? You will disseminate, you will explain those results to the audience. Conclusions also need to cover what were the limitations in your research, what sort of obstacles came to your research work that you need to address, and you will also suggest future research work, like what could have been done better to do the research work more effectively. So you will address those also. So these are the different steps of research process. Next, in the next video, we will do different types of research methods according to the nature of the study. So in the next video, what is coming up is types of research methods.